Basically I started, like, I guess Mum used to put me like next to the speaker when I was like a baby, basically like 2-3 years old, because it would just like shut me up and put me to sleep, and that's like the earliest story of me loving music. And I think I've always just loved music, and it's always been a great way for me to like get my emotions out and everything like that. And so I grew up in Port Pirie, and we would just play guitar and sing with our mates, and we'd just learn like crazy like heavy metal stuff, and just smoke heaps of weed and stuff like that. I don't know if you're gonna cut that. I was trying to just be a normal country kid, you know, like just try and get a trade, get a job. I was just working and stuff like that, and I never really considered music a career. About 5 years ago, I sort of like landed in Adelaide firmly. I basically quit my job about 5 years ago and started busking and just making money purely off busking, so basically not making money. I was basically about to go bankrupt, and I was just like spending, wasn't even making money, I was spending every day like on my laptop, like about to go bankrupt, couldn't even pay my rent, and I was just like making songs on GarageBand and just uploading them to SoundCloud and stuff, and you can still see them on like the old stuff. So I just was working, but I never put anything out properly on Spotify. And I put my first song out in April, I think it was like April 17th of this year, and it was basically like 3 years of just working on this thing, and just being a broke ass motherfucker and putting every single bit of money. Jenna even helped fund some of the stuff that I needed, and she helped out. So just getting 100% committed to it, not working any other job, just pure commitment. And I put my first song out on April 17th, and that got some Triple J traction, so they played that on Home and Hose. We've got some great traction, we've got an amazing team around me, so I guess that's how I got into the industry. Basically I just sit in my studio and I basically just chew on whatever has been emotionally sort of going on with me, just try and sort of go, cool, how am I feeling? What are the sort of relevant things happening in my life, the thoughts? What are the patterns of thought that I'm having? What are the things that I'm struggling with? What are the things I'm battling with? I try to keep a lot of stuff inside sometimes. I try and be strong for people. And I think that's really good. There's different ways, you know. Sometimes I'll pick up the guitar and I'll just literally experiment and muck around with stuff, find chords, play around. I might be singing along at the same time, like getting a bit of a feel for it, melody, but usually these days I like sort of track all the either piano or guitar, whatever I'm using to write. First I'll sort of shape the whole song instrumentally, and then I'll sort of come in, I'll figure out the melody, and it's not words, it'll be like what, literally whatever, and then just get the feeling, and then I'll basically refining it until I am communicating it effectively in the best way I think I can. What sets my music apart is I think I just have this uncanny ability to just be like super open about traumas, and it's never really bothered me to like speak really openly about what's going on and stuff. Obviously there's things I don't want to always talk about. My story, I've got a lot of trauma, and I've been through plenty of struggles, and I've overcome them, I've fought through a lot of stuff, so I think there's like an optimism that I bring to the way that I tell these tragic stories sometimes. Yeah, so I think it's different, it's me, man. There's no one like me at the end of the day. I'm a unique guy, and this is my story. I can tell you like a funny story that happened. You know, I was talking about Ian Kenny, like of Birds of Tokyo and stuff like that. So he's one of my icons. I had a job and I was in Melbourne, and a mate was meant to go to a Birds of Tokyo gig with me. I think it was called Brace or something like that. It was like one of the heavier albums, so I was like really keen to see it because it was more like carnival, like what he'd done with them. Birds of Tokyo comes up, I'm getting smashed, I'm just meeting people, I'm meeting cool people, and and just having a great time. And I'm like, oh, I still want to kick on, I want to go out in Melbourne town, like check it out, the Big Smoke, let's see what it's all about. Let's see if it lives up to the name. But I was like smashed, and I didn't really know what I was doing, so I sort of hung around until the end, and I ended up just like, I don't know, just strong-arming myself into a taxi with someone who probably didn't expect me to jump in. I was like, where are we going? They're like, we're just going. I was like, let's go. That random was actually someone from the second band, and they pulled up at a private bar. It was Birds of Tokyo. It was like, and the bands that were there, and there was like 13 people in there. And I should not have been in there. It was like free bar in that. It was literally like 13 people. It was like me and Ian Kenny. It was insane. And then I came up to the bar and I was like talking to Ian. I was like next to him. It was free drinks. I was like, they were letting me stay, which was chill. But I was drinking and I was like, bro, you're like Jim Morrison, man. You're like a modern day poet to me, man. Like, I was drunk, I was just like blowing heaps of smoke up his ass. And then I just like dropped my beer and it smashed. And they all just looked at me. They were like, get the fuck out. And I was like, I'm happy to go. And then I left. And that was literally one of the best memories of my life. I'm at a good place with it where I'm feeling like I can really start to tell more of these stories and dig deeper into stuff. I think the biggest challenge is honestly like just getting a foothold into the industry and getting the exposure and getting your music in front of the right people. Like I feel like I'm at a stage now where the music's there. Working with someone like Tim Wolf, the songs sound top. Like I think they sound world class. It's just more about getting on a playlist on Spotify. Do you know what I mean? That's like the hardest thing. doubling down on social media, building my own fan base, building my own leverage through just leveraging my art, my creativity and my platform to build that up, generate fans myself as much as possible, and then hopefully create myself leverage. These days, because of things like TikTok, they're just looking at the people that are just already popping themselves off, because it's like really, it's like less work for them. They can just cherry pick the people coming out of TikTok that are already blowing up. It's a gamble, you know, and it's what I love to do. So for me, I did like 20 jobs before I even realized music was possible. I was doing sales jobs, I was doing bartending work, I worked at Woolies when I like from the age of 14, working like all the time. They didn't give you space to do anything creative or extra with it, or like, you know, build something, create something. So I just got to a point where I just couldn't do that anymore. So the most rewarding thing for me is the fact that I've taken control over my own destiny and my own life, and I'm living it on my terms, and that's probably the best feeling. Yeah, I mean, this project has been like an insane task. It's been like 3 years in the works, and the first song's out, the second song is going to come out, so it's probably already out now. It's probably been out for like a week or so. I like to joke around and have a laugh, so I like to inject a bit of comedy in there, but I like self-deprecative humour, so I get people to roast me, and that's been really effective on TikTok. I got like 150k on one of the TikToks of people roasting the song, but I just think if you can just keep getting better and better over time, you're just going to be increasing your exposure over time more and more. I think you just have to take it really seriously. I think people don't take it seriously, and to be honest, I think a lot of the people out there who aren't taking it seriously, a very small percentage of those people are just going to cut through, because the art can cut through that stuff and can just blow up on its own. But I think the majority of the people that aren't taking it seriously actually aren't even competing. That's what I want to do. So if that's what you want to do, I think it's pretty obvious social media is probably the future. Well, in the future, I mean, I definitely see myself like interstate, like, which is great. I'm moving to Sydney now, so I'm going to be based there. I'm probably not going to relocate to Melbourne. I feel like once I'm in Sydney, that's probably like one of the best spots to be in Australia for it, for the industry side of things and that. But I would love to get to the UK and do some stuff. I feel like my stuff would resonate in some areas in Europe, and I would love to do some stuff in America at some point as well. A lot of artists, they sort of want that quick overnight thing. They want that one song that just gets them there, and then all of a sudden everyone knows them. I think it's a slow burn for most people. If you really want it, you can have it, but it's like attrition, and it's like, yeah, if you've got the talent and the ethic and the drive, you can make it happen, but it's really hard. So I'm just gonna keep grinding it out and making like a fucking amazing album, and fucking making fucking awesome merch and touring. I get it, like, if you've got a natural bit of an ego vibe, then you've got to be authentic to that, and you've got to represent that too, but just be authentic and allow others to, like, allow yourself to be criticised, I think, to grow creatively, like actually as an artist, and to expand your capacity for creativity. I think it's really important to listen to other creatives. Get around better artists, like, and be realistic, like, listen to your song, and then listen to like one of your favourite artists, and really listen and think, like, is your stuff at that level yet for you to feel entitled? But now I'm working with someone who's like at the top of the game in my eyes, so now I feel super confident it's at that level, but you might need to work with someone else. But I just think, yeah, just take the criticism, keep writing, keep creating, and just dedicate yourself to being an artist and represent that. Yeah. And don't forget to eat your Weet-Bix. That's the most important fucking thing. If you're not eating your fucking Weet-Bix in the morning, you'll never create a masterpiece, okay? Take it from me. And stop rapping about lean, guys. Get off the lean. Love yous.